Foch arrives at Chaumont, Pershing's headquarters, to discuss this great American offensive in the Saint-Mihiel with the possibility of going to Metz.
Pershing has to show that when American forces are committed, they'll be successful. There's also, of course, pressure from Washington that you've got to succeed.
President Wilson is the commander-in-chief. Now, he's given direction to Pershing that he wants the United States Army to fight as an independent force. It must keep its own autonomy, and this will ensure that the United States has a position at the peace table.
When Pershing meets with Foch in less than 2 weeks before the launch of the Saint-Mihiel offensive, Pershing is expecting to go over final plans. Instead, the Allied commander-in-chief drops a bombshell on him.
Our boys have been working around the clock. New roads, new railways, new hospitals, all constructed in record time.
I am sure your plans are excellent, but I am here to tell you why they are no longer needed.
Foch changes his plans because of the circumstances on the ground. The German offensives in the spring and summer have reduced their ability to fend off Allied counterattacks. He wants American divisions to be used for part of his 100 Days offensive in the Meuse-Argonne sector, and that means that Pershing is going to have to cut his attack short or cancel it altogether. And in a very tense 2-hour meeting, both men make their arguments.
What if both are possible?
I fail to see how.
May I? If we remove the Saint-Mihiel salient, it'll get rid of the German risk in that area. They won't be able to flank us. So our offensive in Saint-Mihiel will actually strengthen your offensive. If you agree, I assure you, my men will handle Saint-Mihiel and be ready for your operation in the Meuse-Argonne. Oui. Good.
So what he does is he trades off the larger objective of Metz. We will close off the salient, and I will use the time then to get my troops in position to support the larger Allied offensive.
Foch grudgingly allows Pershing to continue on with the Saint-Mihiel operation, but the caveat is he has to be in position to attack into the Meuse-Argonne by the 26th of September.
So now General Pershing is responsible not for just running the American offensive, but running the American offensive in conjunction with the French and the British offensive. So Saint-Mihiel is risky for Pershing because if it bogs down in any way, if it is not successful in any way, it'll throw doubt in all the Allies' minds that the Americans can pull this off.
The Saint-Mihiel offensive is different because there's a rather large air component to it, led by Billy Mitchell, who is the honcho of the AEF's fledgling Air Corps. Billy Mitchell will lead the largest air armada of the war in the opening moments of the Saint-Mihiel to cause havoc with the enemy positions and develop intelligence on enemy forces. The Battle of Saint-Mihiel begins with an artillery barrage.
The 1st Division's waiting in their trench. They're hearing the bombardment on either sides of them. The way the front was set up is you had 2 lines of trenches, German and Allied, and in between was no man's land. Just this strip of hell, of shell craters, mud, pieces of corpses that had been human beings being gnawed by rats.
Knowing they're going to be asked to go over the top and go into that no man's land, which is going to be swept by machine guns if the artillery preparatory fires aren't sufficient. How horrific, frankly, that must have been.
Soldiers, This is your chance to make your country proud. Hold tight. Stay with your unit. You understand me? Ellis, I'm counting on you. Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir. That's it, lads. Bennett, you're gonna be fine. Here we go. Got everything. Yeah. Private Bennett. Put that up, Private. Come on. Right. Time to move. Over the top, man. Go, go, go. Move, move.
Mihiel goes fairly well for the Allies. They have massive numbers. They have 550,000 men. They got 3,700 artillery pieces. They got 300 plus tanks. They have nearly 1,500 aircraft.
In the first 4 hours, 3,000 American guns fire 1 million shells, basically obliterating the German and Austrian trenches. And Billy Mitchell is able to orchestrate total air superiority over the St. Mihiel salient, giving them really good visibility on what the Germans are doing, tracking the German movements inside the salient, and then the waves of infantry advance quickly. The Americans inflict casualties and made themselves suffer massive casualties. But the Germans are retreating out of the salient.
Sergeant Michael Ellis is perhaps in the most skilled division in the American Expeditionary Force, the 1st Infantry Division. And they get the tough missions. And one of the tough missions is mopping up. Getting the last of those German soldiers that are still in fighting positions. You have to be thinking on your feet and understand who's the guy who's really surrendering and who's the guy who's surrendering and other Germans are gonna come and kill you.
Return fire! Return fire, Private! Cease fire! Cease fire! Cease fire, Jones! Cease fire! Jones! Ground bastards! Jones! Calm down, Jones! Oh, Jones! Jones, calm down! Calm down! Jones! Jones, calm down! Let's go! Stand down! Let's go! Come on! Move!
At St. Mihiel, the Americans met much less resistance than they anticipated. And the battle is effectively over after 2 days.
What are you doing, Ellis? You writing to your sweetheart? Tell her I say hi. Come on, put it away and come with us. There's a new picture showing.
Promised my sister I'd write her every week. It's been a month.
Come on, Ellis, you're making me feel guilty here.
At ease, boys. Pack up. We've got orders. You take everything. We may not be back.
On July 15th, 1918, Germany launched the 5th phase of its spring offensives. The Germans send 500,000 troops streaming down the hill along a 40-mile front on the far side of the Marne River. They throw themselves at the Allies with everything they have.
A lot of the German soldiers actually were able to get across the Marne. The Germans got across on pontoon bridges and even on ladders.
If you read accounts of this, they're chilling. The Germans just never stop coming. And they think, this is it. We cross the Marne here. They can't stop us. The war is over.
In mid-July 1918, the Germans are going to launch their 5th and final major offensive. And it's going to take place at the Marne River. Stormtroopers will flood across the river while German artillery pounds Allied positions on the south side.
The Germans send 500,000 soldiers stretching out along a 40-mile front. But shortly before the Germans attacked, the Allies got a hold of some German prisoners who told them the assault was coming.
The Allies received a lot of valuable intelligence, and so they were able to position their infantry more effectively to fight off the offensive. They were also able to blow a lot of the bridge across the Marne, and they even launched a preliminary bombardment of the Germans.
So their offensive sputters to a halt by July 18th. And on that day, the Allies launch a counteroffensive.
What the Allies wanted to do was to target the two great rail centers that are in that region, Soissons and Reims, because without those rail centers, the Germans cannot continue to move on Paris. And as a result, Michael Ellis and the Big Red One, of which he was a part, will fight what becomes known as the Soissons campaign.
When we talk battles like this, the killing power of artillery and machine guns is so large that you have small groups operating kind of independently, but within mutual support of one another.
At this particular point, events were happening fast and the stakes were too high. And so the Big Red One would have gotten there in an awful hurry from where they were to where they needed to be. So there would not have been very much time to get familiar with the ground, to pre-register their artillery, to do all the things that military people like to do.
Come on, Tempero.
Gotta move! You gotta move! Here! Come on! Fire! Private Ellis! Private Ellis! Snap out of it! Fire your weapon! Stay down, man! Me too. All right. They must be out too. Ready yourselves. Ready? Go! Are you okay? Get up! I'm fine. Fine. Come on. Let's go.
The 1st Infantry Division, the Big Red One, has been beat up pretty badly at places like Soissons.
But at the same time, the Second Battle of the Marne, of which Soissons is a part, is the moment at which the Allies stop losing battles and again begin to start winning them. It is the moment when French strategists realized that the capital was safe and they didn't have to worry about protecting it anymore.
Nous sommes infiniment reconnaissants aux Américains qui sont venus au secours de notre ville.
The Americans are here, and your children will not live in fear forever.